least in my honor. Now, I'd like to see a big inflatable balloon of myself, like above like the entire parade, like people dressed like me, dancing and stuff. You have the entertainers and like the costumes with the funky heads, like dancing around and like taking pictures with kids. And I think it would be more than great for my publicity. It would be like the stuff. I would be the stuff of legends. But then again, that sort of thinking leads to an overinflated ego that can be easily popped by just a little pin stab by some inconsiderate child. So, but all the possibilities of just one little step of internet fame. I mean, maybe I'll end up on YTMND. That'd be pretty awesome. YTMND. And if you don't know what that is, it's You're the Man Now, Dog, YTMND. It's a website. You should go there. YTMND.com. Fun place. Spent a lot of time there. You know, I hate it when I say something wrong. But I actually got somebody on accident one day. I was talking to my brother and he was asking me about some place. I'm like, hey, I went there for a week one day. And he's like, really? And I'm like, did you just listen to what I said? I went there for a week one day. I spent a week in one day. I'm that magical. In fact, this entire radio show actually lasts 30 years. I just make it fit into half an hour because I'm that special. Yeah. And not the kind of special that uses the paper that doesn't have the edges, but yeah. And as a radio show host, I should probably be a lot more sensitive than I am. But then again, I've heard worse. And I do apologize deeply for anybody who may be offended by anything that I say. And I do take the time and consideration to think about everybody who I might possibly offend. And how I will mail them flowers and cookie bouquets and make them hot chocolate and rub their feet when they're sore and tell them stories when they're tired. I try to be a lot more considerate than I really am. Sometimes I come off being a little crazy and edgy. But hey, you know. I gotta be me. Why be somebody else? I think I talked about that before, being somebody else. Yeah, I talked about being somebody else on Monday, I think. Like trying to do the whole fit into high school. You know, when you look at it, it's like caterpillars sort of want to be butterflies, right? So they make the cocoon. But if you want to be somebody else, you like sort of make a cocoon. But people don't make cocoons. So what do?
Dress like the person.
Exactly. It's like a closed cocoon. Or you could like try and evolve and make some sort of meat cocoon, which is just nasty to think about. Wrap yourself up in Oscar Mayer bologna or something. But then again, that's some pretty neo-Freudian stuff. Like, you have to wrap yourself in warm blankets so you may be reborn. I'm gonna go ahead and say that I'm not into that. Nope. Not at all. Not one bit. Not a negative. So I have 4 minutes left. 4 minutes. You know, I thought the script would last me a lot longer. Usually it lasts me until like I have 10 minutes left. And then I only have to think of something to talk about for 10 minutes. But it was only good for like 15. That's like half the show. So I have to do the rest of the half of the show just off the top of my head.
Just tell a quick random story.
A random story?
Yeah.
Oh, you could tell the story about how when I was a child, I had to live in a meat freezer and ward off any intruders with a boat paddle. Reminds me, the only clothing I wore until I was 12 years old was frozen meat. I lived in this meat freezer for 12 years. I was born. I moved there when I was 5. Not of my own will, but it's not part of the story. Anyway, I was there until I was 12, and I made snowmen in a meat locker. I warded off any intruders with a boat paddle, and I ate frozen meat. I mean, it was tough growing up as a kid because it was the whole family in the meat freezer. And you know, it's so cold that you just sort of get used to it, but it's just an annoying cold. You know, you can't cook anything. It's frozen meat. You really can't, like, tell stories by the campfire because it's an enclosed place, and if you light a fire in an enclosed place, it'll kill you. And then it always, it's like, hey, it probably feels like Christmas all the time because it's cold. What do you get as a Christmas present? It's the same every day. It's just that cold. It's like 50 degrees. And you get bits of frozen meat. Stuff growing up as a kid. But I got over it, By the time I was 13, I was living in the hotter climate of Florida. I adjusted pretty well. And it's not that I miss living there, although there are some parts that I enjoy. Living in the meat freezer, it's just cold. I mean, every time I walk into a cold classroom, and the classrooms are renowned for being very cold around here, I always think of my childhood, just how hard it was to live in that meat freezer. Eat frozen meat all the time. Make snowmen. Pretty tough. That's not as bad as the time that I convinced this one guy to buy his house from himself for $1. Yeah, that didn't go well. Apparently, there's this thing called fraud in the United States. I didn't know this. And if you do something wrong that involves money, you'll get yelled at or get put in prison. But hey, whatever, So I'm going to go ahead and advise that you don't do any of this fraud thing. I believe it's spelled F-R-A-W-D-E. Accented E? Yeah. That's how you spell fraud. But, yeah, I guess that could be my words of wisdom. Don't commit fraud. Don't drink paint. Don't live in a meat freezer. So if you want to know what it's like, just ask me. Horror stories. Some of which I'm not allowed to tell over the air because of, I can only say words that aren't allowed to be said about it. But yeah, stay warm. Stay dry. It's going to rain later today. Most of all, have a fantastic day. Have just a fantastic day. Have that for me, would you?